The lads, how are we getting on?
Happening, George. How's it going,
Wow,
George?
good, good. Owen, good job on the loom video. I know it's frustrating. I know it's fucking stressful, like, but it's like, how did you go about it? We all right in the end, or did it kind of ruin your night?
I no, it didn't ruin it, but it was like I've got so many videos that it'd just be like fucking kicking off, crashing out because I can't get it right. I
What do you think you mainly struggling with? Was like the stuttering, or was it like, yeah, what was like the main thing, do you think?
think it was definitely the stuttering, and I was typing out my script basically of like what I thought I should say, and then trying to remember it without looking at it. And I was like fucking fidgeting in it and stuff. I could see everything that I was doing wrong after it, but in the moment, I thought that's probably the best one I'm gonna get. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I'd rather I'd rather a shit loom video than no loom video. And that goes for everyone. Like, I would never ever give someone grief for Brian, do you know what I mean? I would never like humiliate you or nothing. It's just like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's. I see it all the time in the poll and stuff as well. Loom videos just become second nature, rolling off the tongue in the end. You're not really going to change much on the way you lay it out for your whole career, so to say. Um, you're just going to be inputting new experience that you're getting on rules. You'll be sweet. But I fucking hated doing it before. Like, um, I get so pissed off at myself. And do you know what it is? You start losing confidence.
yeah,
Then you start getting your own head and you're like, fucking just a piece of shit. Why can't I even fucking speak for a minute without owning an hour and just, oh, it's just nightmare. But nah, you'd be sweet, man.
yeah.
How is everybody else getting on with it? Well, there's people that are actually wanting to land rules at the moment. Is anybody else struggling with the Loom videos? Oh, he's all good.
I would
How
say I
about,
needed.
yeah, I was going to ask you
Go
now,
ahead, George.
how about you?
Yeah, I need to stop fucking using the teleprompter. Like, I
Yeah.
just need to, because I can see even watching it back. I am looking at the camera because I can do it now that I can read the text without watching it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But it
Yeah.
means I'm just like, and then
What,
saying
just like stare directly at the camera?
it.
Yeah. No, like, obviously unscripted is better. You'll understand the layout. Look, it's all I've said this tons of times. Loom videos, it's more just about energy. They just want to see if they can even trust you. Do you look like a trustworthy guy? Do you have a bit of energy? Do you understand the rule itself that you're applying for? Apart from that, you don't even need to put your experience in there if you don't have any. They just want someone they can trust with their customers. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is. So yeah, just don't overthink it. Um, I would shorten them down for most people. You don't want it really past 90 seconds. I know on Loom you can kind of speed it up. Um, but yeah, actually, I'm going to take these headphones out because I'm going to show you a video as well for this. So, right, can you hear me all good still?
Yep. Yeah, all good.
Right. So obviously today we're going to be going through dopamine, right? Now, to be fair, this has been. I'll start recording. Where the fuck's the record?
Are
Eh,
you recording?
I'm
Oh,
already
George.
recording now. All right, I'll trim it down. But look, dopamine, right? This is a thing, especially when I first started out, I struggled with massively. And don't get us wrong, I still struggle with it today. Pointless doom scrolls, going through phases where I'm overusing certain vices makes you more anxious. You know, you're putting off tasks. This is the sole reason, I think, for majority of you why you aren't getting the work or all the work that you're supposed to be doing done. So I've made a bit of a presentation and whatnot. I'm basically going to walk through it, all the psychology of it and everything. There's a lot of science behind it. I'm not going to dive into depth on that, but I just want you to fix it, essentially. So I'm going to share my screen here and we'll go from the start. But before we go into it, when you think of dopamine, right, what do you actually think of?
Like a drug.
A drug, right? Okay, because that's what I used to think about it. What else do you think?
Cheap dopamine, like fucking scrolling or fucking drinking, nicotine, fucking talking to birds, just like stuff that's not really that feels fulfilling at the time, and then when you finish it, it's like that wasn't actually as good as I thought it would have been.
Yeah. Yeah. But dopamine's a good thing as well when
I
you get
like real
stressed.
dopamine, yeah.
Yeah, because I think people have this view of dopamine as like, yeah, cheap dopamine, like bad dopamine, where dopamine's just the same thing. It's just a, well, go on, yeah. It's really just a brain chemical that was used for survival back in the day. That's all it is. Like you need dopamine to do stuff. Like if you don't have any dopamine, you don't do anything. Um, but the way you get that dopamine dictates if you're actually going to do anything with your life, essentially. So today we're going to go through why most people are just unmotivated, anxious, and stuck. Like I was, well, this isn't solely a motivation problem. It's a brain chemistry problem. And I've looked into this a lot, to be fair. Because, yeah, I was so distracted starting out. I felt like I could not do any tasks at all. And I was getting in my own head, thinking I was a piece of shit, thinking I was fucking broken, was just not the case. It's because I was zapping all the dopamine from the wrong places. But yeah, what we'll cover today, why most people feel unmotivated, what dopamine actually really is and what it does, how modern society hijacks your dopamine, um, what this is actually doing to your brain chemistry in your life, essentially, and how to reset your brain chemicals. Now, this is going to be uncomfortable when you actually put this stuff into practice, and you're going to be fighting against this for the rest of your life, essentially, because we are in a world where you can get dopamine so quickly all the time. And you've really got to navigate life better to be able to do more stuff with your life. Because it's just constant distractions everywhere, which we're going to go through. But I just want to put some actual dopamine facts for you, right? And I actually searched up the most searched things for addiction because realistically, these are all addicts. So even with addiction, right, the first thing was porn. Bit mad, right? But that is, and even fourth is pornography addiction. It's a massive thing, especially for blokes when you're teenagers and stuff, growing up. Even for fully grown men, it's just like that just zaps the dopamine out of you. It can happen for women too, like, but you even know it's a bit of a sensitive thing. Personal clarity. If you sleep with a bird, you have a bit of a tug, whatever, you feel terrible after. You don't want to do anything. And it's that for like, it's any cheap, high, fast dopamine, which you do get from that, always there is a payoff. So I know kind of Ethan has talked about it a little bit, and I think it's not really talked about enough. But that will ruin all your dopamine. And by the looks of it, everyone's secretly doing it. Well, most of the lads in society buy the most searched items there. Like, so you don't have to confront yourselves in front of the group. But if that is an issue, we'll walk through it today on how to get away from that. Like, so the average person checks their phone 96 times a day, once every 10 minutes. I think that's fucking mental, that, like, because if you can't sit with yourself for 10 minutes without checking on your phone, you've fried. And there has been periods of my life where I've been like that. For you lads at the moment, and I think Molly's here as well, how are you with your phone at the moment? How often do you check it? But the average person, 96 times per day, picking up the phone. Do you think that's the main issue for you at the moment, or?
I'm bad.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
When you
then
speak,
I didn't. Oh, gone.
go,
I
no, go
didn't
ahead,
think I
Tom.
was that bad. I didn't think I was that bad until you put a message in saying I'm going to be checking your screen times, and I've been watching my screen time this week. I'm like, oh, maybe it's like 2 hours. It's fucking way worse than that.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, well, 2 hours. I'd be buzzing with that. Like, look, I'm not asking you to share your screen and pull up your screen times now, but be honest, right? What's your screen time at the moment? I'll go first. All right. I'm pretty sure mine's horrendous, but I'm always in my DMs and stuff as well. I I produce content. I'm not trying to make excuses, but trying hey, where the fuck is this? Oh, hang on. But everyone
That's what I
all
was
their
going to
top.
ask. Whereabouts do you find it? Is it in settings?
I just
Yeah,
type
go
up
on your settings. So for
Search space
me,
bar.
right now, it is 15 hours a day.
15.
15.
Well, yesterday was 14 hours, 40 minutes.
Holy
Jesus.
And that's
Fucking hell.
this is connected to my Mac as well, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Because
So you
all
work?
devices.
but then that means you're
Yeah.
on your screen like basically every single time you're awake, bar maybe going to the gym. Other than
Yeah,
that, you're on a screen.
basically, yeah. So for me, and if you look at the app activity, well, my biggest one is Instagram, so that's 3 hours a day. Then it's Google Chrome, then it's Zoom. Obviously, I take calls every day on Zoom, then WhatsApp. So Instagram is probably an issue for me, even though I work on Instagram as well. The other stuff, it's not TikTok, it's not Facebook, it's Google Chrome, Zoom, and WhatsApp. Um, for you, everybody else, how is everybody going with that? What's the most used apps and stuff?
I have 7 hours today, and look, I'll be honest, my most used app is Snapchat. Only by 5 minutes though. My second most used app is Slack.
Okay.
And then the third most used app is Lead Connector. And then you've got Instagram and then Fathom. So Snapchat and Instagram is definitely like Instagram's not as much as a problem. I think Snapchat just I
What
was
you
on the
do?
phone today.
What you doing on Snapchat? Like, look, I have Snapchat, right? But it's like just for like memories of like when I was like 16, 17 for like content. So I don't really speak much on Snapchat, but like, how many hours are you using Snapchat a day? Like,
It's never usually that much, to be fair. My mate rang me today and I was talking shit to him for a wee bit, but I didn't think fucking Snapchat would be the top of my list. Let me check yesterday.
yeah,
Well, yesterday Slack was top and then Snapchat was second. Snapchat is always up there, to be fair.
fucking hell. Well, at
And
least you
you're,
had work the second one with Slack. How's everybody else? Is anybody else shocked at theirs or?
I'm down 45% from last week because I knew it was mentioned. I was like, right, I'm gonna fucking try my best. Today is 3 hours and 52 minutes. Most used is ChatGPT at 54 and LinkedIn, but I would say if it was connected with my laptop, it would be higher.
Yeah.
Or with LinkedIn and ChatGPT anyway. But the likes of Instagram today, 16 minutes, TikTok's 13. Snapchat's only 1 minute. I don't even use that much. Yeah.
That's not bad. Has anybody else got horrific ones? Because I think for most people, it's more of a case of like, yeah, you could be working during the day, but it's before you go to sleep, like you just be doom scrolling and
I used
TikTok
to
or whatever.
have I used to have quite a bad one. Then I downloaded this app, Opal, and
Opal.
it
I
was
think
like
I've heard of
it
that.
was blocking my apps during work time for me before I started all this.
Okay.
And obviously I don't use it now because I need access to Instagram and that. But when I first downloaded it, I was on like 8 or 9 hours screen time, and it said over the average lifespan, you're set to spend 23 years looking down at your phone for the rest of your life. And I was like, I saw that and I was like, fuck me, that makes me feel sick. So I was
Yeah.
like blocking my apps and I've like cut down on it quite a lot actually.
Because like, do you feel any difference now you've cut it down, like with, just that underlying anxiety during the day or like, yeah, like, do you feel any difference at all?
Yeah, I just get like less brain fog mainly. That's what I
Yeah.
was getting mostly in work. I used to not be able to think and I'd just go straight to my phone because I'd be stressed in work and I'd like forget about it. And it like kind of like numbs my brain sometimes. I notice that. It
Yeah.
does do that quite a lot, so I cut down on it quite a lot. Mine's the same as Niall's. It's like 3 hours and 51.
Right. Okay. Fucking hell. Yeah. Well, I expected a lot worse from you. It's like, has anybody got some fucking terrible time? I want to fucking dissect it. Like, because everybody's got 3 hours a day isn't bad, especially like if you're semi working on your phone or whatnot. But I've just shown myself up, yeah, like 14, 15 hours. Has anybody got like anything similar or am I the fucked one here?
No, I've got bad.
Aye,
But
mine's pretty fucked as well.
yeah. Right. Tell us, make us feel better, please.
So yesterday's 12 hours. The day's nearly 7 hours. But I think I'm the same as Jared. It's connected to the Mac. So
Yeah. Because even I'll
um,
have my Mac open when I go to the toilet, when I'm like, even out the house and stuff. Um,
aye,
but yeah, I
aye.
do just
But
work all day. Like,
I TikTok's fucking that's well too well too high.
Right. What is it?
That's no good. Like, well, I've got an hour and a half a day somehow. And like you just think of it like and you're like, where the fuck's that went to? Like,
Yeah. So I'd say TikTok's probably the worst at the moment, because if you're not posting content on there, you are simply burning time. Like
yeah,
there is no benefit from TikTok. It is pure just brain rot. The quality of people, like even when I post content on TikTok, like all the people that comment on me stuff, they're all just cabbages. Like, do you know what I mean? What about you, Tom?
Uh, Today weren't that bad. It's 2 hours 45, but yesterday 6 hours 30.
Right. Considering you're
Uh,
working full time as well.
that's a lot. I think
Yeah.
to be fair, a lot of it I feel like it's in the day, like when I'm at work.
Okay.
Like if like work the past few days have been pretty not slow, but I've had a lot of time to burn when I've been there. So I do end up on a doom scroll or a. To be fair, do you know this week's been quite bad? You know, like all the Epstein files got released. I have been reading into that quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the stuff that's going to brain rot you. And to be fair, I definitely contribute to that because I like posting content about that stuff. But it's like, yeah, it's just filling the gaps with something else. We need to learn to be bored again. And I'll kind of run through why in a second, because when you're constantly stimulated all the time, you just got that brain fog, like Owen was saying there. And you kind of just existing, I find, when I'm just doom schooling all the time, especially like back in the day when I was working full time, any chance I had, I'd doom school. And I just wasn't thinking. I felt like I was just going through the day and the day would end. I was just kind of like a ghost. Um, but look, I'll run through these facts here as well. So even like porn gets more traffic than Netflix, Amazon, and Twitter combined. Dopamine spikes from porn higher than actual real sex. Heavy social media users show reduced attention span, impulse control, and motivation. Chronic overstimulation, which I'd say if you're on 6 hours a day and working full time, 10 hours a day, you're definitely overstimulated. Will eventually lower your whole baseline dopamine. That can reset, which I'll show you in a sec. But I've definitely felt this. The one thing that's really got me in the past, which isn't scrolling, is nicotine, where normal life just feels flat, dull, and pointless. It sounds a bit mad, but if anyone's on the snus, I think people react differently to things. And I was looking at a study about this, especially for addicts. You are genetically wired sometimes to be more addicted to certain substances. So let's say your family have always been alcoholics up the line or whatever. You'll probably be genetically more susceptible to get more dopamine from alcohol, and you're probably more likely to be addicted, just like your family. It's not all environmental. And for nicotine, definitely is for me. If I have one snus and I relapse all the time, I have no motivation to do any work for the rest of the day. I just want to sit in bed and do nothing. And that's because all snus does for me, nicotine, massive spike of dopamine, and I feel class honestly for about 2 minutes. And then it's just like all I'm thinking about is the next snus. And it can get to a point where it's like, I know for me anyways, I'd go through the whole day, just force myself through the whole day, and I'm thinking about going home and having a snus or being by myself and having a snus. And that could be for any addiction. It could be scrolling, it could be having a wank, it could be fucking, I don't know, anything, right? You could just be waiting, and all your life feels like is, I'm looking forward to that. It's like all your dopamine comes from that one source. That's exactly what you don't want to get to. That's why I eventually quit, but I was miserable for probably about a month it took me to be normal again. To actually have like, for me to be excited about life again. It sounds a bit mad, but it hijacked me excitement for life. It was nuts. Aiden?
Yeah, I can definitely touch on the snus, but
Mm.
me, I actually don't know if it does interfere with my work because I've been taking them from I was like 15,
Right.
which is mad, like, and I actually do think it is sort of fucking like giving me a bit of problems, like high blood pressure or something, to be honest. And that's why I'm sort of looking to stop.
Yeah.
Um, and I wouldn't even say I get that much cravings, but my problem is I'll get up and I'll not think of a snooze, right? But I'll go down and I'll have my breakfast as soon as I have some food in me. I'm like, fuck, I'd love a snooze right now.
Yeah.
Or I'll get my lunch. I'm like, fuck, I'd love a snooze. Get my dinner. It's always after I eat for some reason. I think that's just because I've had myself in the habit of I only take a snooze after I eat or before I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And it's like those is the times when I'm sitting. Like there was actually a stage where like I was taking a snooze and it was fucking my sleep up and I was
Yeah.
in, but I couldn't get to sleep without it.
Yes. That was at that point as well. Yeah, so with the snus, my theory about the food thing is when you're eating, all your blood rushes to your gut to digest your food. When you have snus, it feels like a bit of a relief because your blood goes to your head instead.
Mm,
That was my theory on it, because like if I'm really bloated after a meal, I'll have a snus and my bloating goes down. It's
yeah.
weird. Now, but when you are taking the snus, you're rewarding yourself and you give yourself a break. It's like when someone has a cigarette. I remember even back at work, like years ago, when I was having a vape. I loved my vape, and I'd stop for 5 minutes and have a vape and just think and chill out. And it's like a reward thing, but I've done fuck all. So you're rewarding yourself for no reason. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, with that, be very careful. I don't think it's kind of marketed now in terms of like it's a work thing. Black coffee and a snus. I got in that cycle for a while, but you're just borrowing focus from later. That's all you're doing. Because when you try and come off it, you can't focus and you're agitated for about a month and you feel like shit. And you think,
Mm,
well, the only way I can get focused now is by taking the snus. The only way I can get focused now is by having alcohol. The only way I can enjoy alcohol is by having a bag. It's like it all links together. This fast dopamine, it ruins your baseline.
See,
Um,
with snus, like everyone's like different. Like where I'm like snus is like relaxed. Like I'm not taking a snus when I'm working. Like I'm taking a snus if I'm relaxing.
that was the
Like,
same with me, actually. Yeah, to
like
be fair. Yeah.
but I think that's because I take such like like a high dose, like 50 mgs, and it'll have me like in the back of the chair like this, and like I'll actually feel my
Is he froze there?
He's frozen.
heart problems.
All I
I,
heard,
I I can relate with everything he's saying, but
yeah. All I heard was heart problems by the end there. I used to get heart palpitations off snus.
Yeah,
I like me heartbeat be normal and then it go then it maybe stop for 30 seconds, then I get this adrenaline rush, and then I'm back to normal again. The reason for that is your blood pressure. Nicotine raises your blood pressure, and a cigarette has 8 milligrams of nicotine. You're having 50 in one hit.
yeah,
Um, it's just like nicotine poisoning, essentially. But for me, yes, it was sometimes with the snus, it would give us crippling anxiety while I'm having it as well, which would make me want to work. But then my cortisol would spike during the day, and that actually lowers your testosterone as well. So I've looked at all the studies for it, like, and the more anxious you are, the less testosterone you have, the more cortisol you have, which is your stress hormone, the less testosterone you have. And with a load of caffeine and a load of nicotine, that definitely does that. You're in panic mode for the rest of the day, especially when you wake up and the first thing you do, well, the first thing I used to do, leave the house and pop a snus and have an energy drink, and then I'm just crippled with anxiety during the day, um, which would make us do work, but not in a healthy way, if you know what I mean.
yeah. I was actually like going to jump on this call here and pop a snus, but I'm not even going to anymore. Like, I
It's going
I
to be
just don't.
tough, like coming off it. I was a well, even asked Conrad, I was a bit of a nightmare to live with. Just miserable. Didn't find any joy in life. Like I was just all I want was
Um,
a snus.
like 50 mg isn't even like the highest that like I was on like 150 at one stage. Like I got my tolerance up so high to one stage where it actually was bad. Like, and then I had to cut it down. I did like.
Yeah, it's no one knows the long term stuff with it as well. There's no tobacco in it, but it's just yeah. The dopamine side of it for me was that was all it was. It wasn't like I was addicted to nicotine. I was addicted to the dopamine it was giving us. That's what I think, anyways. Like, Niall.
Yeah, just quickly on that there about sort of feeling anxious. So
Mhm.
I found like I don't know if anyone else can relate, but see Monster Energy as well. I find if I was to drink one of them, see later in the day, you feel a wee bit anxious. It's like because of the caffeine in it, like makes you go on a high and then that's you crashing back down.
Yeah. The so caffeine. it's proven to raise your cortisol, which is your stress hormone. Um, I think it's good when you moderate it, but it's like I know when you leave a vice, let's say you stop the snus, you'll end up eating more. Or if you're on a diet, you'll end up just drinking a load of caffeine. You've got to fill the void with something better. Um, but look, the main thing I want to kind of touch on is like your brain cannot tell the difference between survival rewards, which is where we used to get dopamine from, and then digital stimulation, which is where we're getting majority of our dopamine from now. Um, because, and I'm going to dive into this in a second, I'll go another slide on that. But yeah. But firstly, boys, I kind of want to just dive into like, you're not weak or broken, right? Your brain's just adapted to society now. Like our grandparents did not have the stimulation that we have today. I'm not saying their lives were easier by any means, but they had different problems to us. Um, but I just got a question, like with it, what is the main thing that you're avoiding right now? Let's say every time you pick up your phone or whatever vice you're having right now, what is it that you're actually avoiding? Like, what task is it?
For me, I think it's actually staying up later and doing more work instead of going into bed, like say at 10 o'clock and just scrolling on my phone for say half an hour, when I know I could be putting it into more work, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Um, there is there is times where you need to not and just be by yourself and not work. But we all know when you scroll, time goes quick anyway. So it's almost like you're punishing yourself and you feel like you have no time for yourself when you fill that time with social media. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Like even
Um,
when you're even sitting scrolling there for half an hour, like where the fuck did that half an hour go to? Like,
yeah, 100%. And then it feels like, yeah, you got no time for yourself. Whereas if you well, this is another question I've got further down the line, but it's like, when was the last time you just did nothing like you turned everything off and you just sat in your own thoughts? Some people can't do that now. You can get to that point. But I purposely make myself bored sometimes. Well, about every day, I just listen to like church conference talks and go down to the park and just do nothing. Shouldn't even be really listening to anything through my headphones, really. But that's my kind of vice to stop everything. Um, anything else you are avoiding though at the moment? That's like the main like hurdle that you are avoiding right now because you feel like you just tapped in the head with
Like,
dopamine.
I'm avoiding like the fucking boredom. It is like the day they're obviously on the road I'm on. It's only like in the transition stage, everything's changing, so the odds have slowed way down. So I only had like 3 calls today, and like whenever I was thinking, what else could I do? Like I texted into the group, and it was like anyone about for a role play, but no one got back to me. And then I was like, well, what the fuck do I do now? And it's sort of like you're trying to just fill that void. And I watched I like went on the YouTube and I watched a video about like doom scrolling and shit,
Mhm.
trying to even if it's a YouTube video instead of going on TikTok or Instagram, like a longer video, but it's like I still know I'm fucking doing nothing, like I'm still wasting my time. So it's like trying to figure out what to actually do.
Well, even as a sales rep, if you've got a cancellation or reschedule, I'd be going out to follow up or whatnot, doing your admin. But you need like a list of vices that aren't going to be quick pleasure that you can fill the void with. So that shouldn't be like going on YouTube or anything like that. Even just going on a walk, getting outside, reading a fucking book or something. Um, something that's not just instant pleasure to fill the void. Eamon?
One thing I do that I was probably just going to say to Aiden, but decided that say it out here might help someone else as well, is when I'm planning my day, I know that show rate is low, like it can be shit, so I'll stack out my day like fuck. And to be honest, at the end of every day, 9 times out of 10, I won't have completed everything on the list. Do you know what I mean? Well, some people will plan their day in a way that they can tick off everything. So at the end of the day, I'm feeling like fuck's sake, rather than like, oh, that's a good day, which can be a bad thing. But I just stack out everything so then I can look at it and be like, right, I can do that now instead of doom scrolling. And it took my screen time from like probably about, I don't even know, I'm on screen time for about 8 hours, right down to about five, and that's including working with it too. So like doom scrolling has stopped being a problem for me because just stacking in my day far more like.
Yeah. So you just have like a list of things that you can always do, but it's not like
Yeah.
a sort of say where you tick it off and that's what you've done forever. It's like always something you can do to
Yeah,
avoid.
it's like role play slash review a call. So in that slot, if no one's role playing, I'll just review something, in that way, like just anything.
Yeah, 100%. And I think The main reason I remember when I was closing rights, it was like if I had a cancellation, sometimes I'd be like, oh, thank fuck. I just want to kind of recharge. Um, but it's like you can completely waste that hour. Once you get to a point where your dopamine's off fried, like it seems like Eamon's at that point now, you'll actually want to do work in between calls. You'll actually want to review something or, do something that's actually worthwhile. But right now, you'll just feel like you don't want to do anything between calls because you're just constantly looking for stimulation. Do you know what I mean?
It's such a roller coaster, it's right? You know when you hear at the start of the journey in sales, everyone's talking about, oh, sales is a roller coaster and stuff of emotions and stuff, and it is. And it's you're trying to work off discipline instead of motivation. But some days I will be like, oh, I'll do the review this call, I want to do work, and then the next day I'm like, as you said, looking to recharge, like, oh, I might go down, have a conversation with family or go on my phone for a bit too. So it's this weird thing where Monday can be so different than Tuesday, and it's trying to just keep it going, you know what I mean? It's strange, like.
Yeah, as long as like you're saying they're going down speaking to your family and stuff, that's that's not going to fry your dopamine. It's dopamine. It's like you get in a roll, you feel good after. But it's not something that's going to give you this massive crash like doom scrolling would. Do you know what I mean? So, like you're saying there, though, you just need different vices that you can fill the void with because you're not going to be able to stop these stuff. Like whatever vices you have right now, whether it's alcohol or doom scrolling or what nicotine, whatever, it's like you can't just stop that cold turkey. You can't do it. Like you can't with your own willpower, you will not do it. Um, you've got to fill it with something else. That's in anything you do, you know. Um, has anybody got any questions on that or all good? But look, people usually think dopamine is just pleasure. That when I get dopamine, it's just like, oh yeah, I feel good now. It's purely just a survival brain chemical. Like I was mentioned before, without it, you're not going to have any motivation, drive, focus, or willingness to actually do the stuff that you want to do. Um, Dopamine is simply just answering one question, which is this worth going after? But at the moment, you've got this instant dopamine, which is kind of fucking ruining everything for you. I kind of want to watch this rat experiment that I've seen, which, if you know animal testing, they always experiment on rats. And the correlation between rat brains and our brain, basically all their behaviors are the same, right? So let's have a look at this.
This study with rats and dopamine might just change your life. So some scientists took two groups of rats and they put one group in a cage. And to get food, the rats had to press a lever, which would then release a pellet of rat food for them. Then they do this repeatedly to get more food. But for group two, by injecting the rats, they eliminated the dopamine neurons, meaning the rats had neither any dopamine in their brain nor the ability to produce any dopamine. And these rats still hit the lever and enjoyed the food even with no dopamine. But when they moved the rats even one body's length away from the lever, group one, who still had dopamine, would return to press the lever to get the food. But group two, the rats with no dopamine, would not move at all. Not even a single rat length, around 15 centimeters to press the lever to get food. So this tells us that you don't need dopamine to experience pleasure, but actually to be motivated to seek pleasure. And this can be a problem for people with naturally lower levels of dopamine, because they're less motivated to do things even though they can still experience the same level of pleasure. And if you think you might be one of these people, then there are some links in the pin.
So what do you reckon that tells you about with like how dopamine actually acts in terms of that? Because I found that interesting. I don't know what you think. Because dopamine isn't pleasure. The rats still were having food and they were feeling pleasure, but dopamine was purely just the willingness to get the pleasure, if you know what I mean. Which is a massive mindset shift for me because I was like, maybe it's not. Well, maybe. Well, yeah, it's like dopamine isn't the thing. Like I used to have this chocolate or something, right? And I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm getting loads of dopamine right now, but that's not actually dopamine. Do you know what I mean? Dopamine is the effort you make to get the what you want.
Yeah.
Um,
It's almost
now,
like another source of energy as such.
yeah, it's like so they even did this with cocaine. So rats love cocaine, and it was the exact same thing, right? So they did it with cocaine and cheese. So with the cocaine, they'd always press the lever, and then the coke would come. But then when they zapped the dopamine out of the rat, it made it like I don't even know what they do. They must give it like fucking some drug where they can't experience dopamine. Um, the rat would obviously stop going to the lever. Same with the cheese. It was like with the rat with dopamine with the cheese, they would place the cheese right in front of them. Both of them would eat it right in front of them. But as soon as the rat was like an inch away from the cheese with no dopamine, wouldn't bother going to the cheese. Um, so it's like when people are like depressed or they're just like in a really bad rut, it's usually because they've just got the dopamine from the wrong places. It's literally all it is. Trying to get this full screen actually. Don't know how to get back. So yeah, any other thoughts on that? Because I was like,
Is
I always
there
I always thought dopamine was just from eating McDonald's, having chocolate. Now I'm feeling dopamine, but it's not actually pleasure. The feeling of pleasure isn't dopamine. What are you gonna say? Ian?
I was gonna say, George, you seem to be more educated than me around this. Do you know if there's any study that if you have dopamine, let's say you scroll all day on a Monday, does that affect you and you don't scroll for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Does that still affect you on that Thursday?
So I'll
Like a
run through
timeline of it?
yeah, I'll run through in a second, but basically for you to completely adjust a behavior, you can't you have to do it for 30 days for it to become like a habit. Even with studies with like if you cut something out, even after 14 days, your brain chemistry isn't back to normal again. It's got to be for 30 days minimum. So let's say you do like 3 days of doom scrolling and like 3 days off. You're constantly probably just like confusing your brain and you're probably going through these highs and lows. And you're probably going to feel shit all the time. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like that's me because some days I'll have far more time in the day, let's say a Sunday where I don't have any calls and I'm used to having a stacked out calendar and I've nothing else to do other than take calls. So then on that Sunday I'll scroll like fuck and I'll just do all this bullshit, and that's you're right then. It is that sort of roller coaster, brain's confused as fuck.
Yeah. On Sundays, even from a Christian perspective now, it was a day of Sabbath or whatnot. I really made an effort not to go on technology as much. And you're not supposed to, well, I know with my church anyways, you're not supposed to go out for food and someone else isn't supposed to work for you on a Sunday. You're supposed to just start to be in the house with no technology essentially. And just kind of be in your own thoughts and completely rest, sleep, whatever on a Sunday. Whereas most Sundays, yeah, for most people, it's like I'm either hungover, not working, so I'm just gonna doom scroll all day. You're crippled by Monday because you just feel like a piece of shit. Do you know what I mean? So I'd
Yeah.
really force yourself on a Sunday just to be with yourself in your own thoughts and try and limit, technology as much as possible. Read a book, um, and yeah, and just be in the house. Force yourself to get bored on a Sunday, and you'll find on the Monday the littlest things get you excited again. Take a reset, even for one day.
Yeah,
Um,
because I think I'm being recharged on that Sunday by like relaxing and just scrolling and watching TV and stuff. Where in fact that's actually crippling me more than the hectic schedule I just had Monday to Friday.
yeah, 100%. It's like when you're
Fuck.
hungover and you scroll all day and you're in bed, you think you're recovering, but you end up being worse off at the end. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you're just distracting yourself. That's all it is from your thoughts. Like that's literally what doom scrolling is majority of the time. Aiden?
Is all dopamine bad? Like,
No. No,
is
we
this what
need
we're
it.
saying? Because obviously, me and Eamon were talking about there, like, oh, we're gonna have a slow day on Saturday. Like, we'll go fucking cold dip in sauna or something. Like, that's gonna give us dopamine, but is that gonna fry our brains? Is that gonna be like,
No, 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 no. So the way it works is, and I've got like a couple of sides. When there's initial pain first, and then there's dopamine, that's always worth it. When it's pleasure first and pain later, never worth it. That goes for literally anything. So the initial having a hard session, gym session, then the endorphins and the dopamine after. Basically, your brain goes into homeostasis, which is essentially where everything's kind of balanced out. It's kind of like well, it's a scientific term of like a balanced body, so to say. But at the moment, everyone's kind of unbalanced. I've got like a scales that I'm going to show you after this. But ice baths, saunas, having a hard session, running, that's the dopamine we should be getting. Like if you look at here, like your brain didn't evolve for modern day society. Dopamine used to come from hunting, building, physical work, risk, and social bonding. Now dopamine comes from porn, social media, gaming, junk food, and alcohol. But you cannot go against millions of years of evolution. Like your brain doesn't know the fucking difference. Like when you're scrolling or eating junk food, you get the same dopamine that you get from building, physical work, risk. It doesn't know the difference. And you've got to be self-aware of your actual biology of your brain for this to work.
but then the brain knows that you're getting this dopamine from social media, and it's so much easier for me to just pick up my phone and start scrolling rather than it actually is for me to be like, right, I am going to go to the gym here and fucking do a leg session. I am going to do 30 minutes in the sun or something like that.
But your brain doesn't know. Like your brain chemistry doesn't know where the dopamine's coming from. You consciously know that you picking up your phone's giving you this dopamine, but biologically your body doesn't. So your body is getting that reward without doing any work. Um, but you know consciously that you're doing it. But yeah, this is the question I wanted to ask. This is the question I wanted to ask. Be honest with yourselves, right? When was the last time you did something difficult with no phone, no music, no distraction? Some people are active in the gym and stuff. Could be a fucking hike. Could be even for me. I get the most dopamine out of just having a long, deep conversation with someone, and then like hours have passed. I haven't looked at my phone, and that's where I get my. That's probably the healthiest vice for me, getting stuff off my chest, and that's like goes down to social bonding here, where we used to get it from when we used to be in fucking tribes and stuff. But for you lads, when was the last time he's actually done something like that?
For me, like I've started recently, when I wake up in the mornings, I'll wake up at 5 and I go to the gym for 6 and then I'll be in work for 8. But as soon as I wake up, I wouldn't touch my phone until I get home from work, and then I do at least one thing on the laptop before I go to work, and then after that, I can go on my phone. Then that's kind of what I've been implementing recently.
Yeah, spot on. That's perfect. You're just delaying gratification. Like,
I struggled with that because of the fact that I was like addicted, like obsessed with like trying to escape the matrix, do all this sales shit. So every time I was like trying to find a role or trying to do this, and it was like he's like, yes, you could call it half-assed efforts because you're working and then you're looking at your phone and stuff, but I could never. I tried to do that and I never could master it at all. Fair fucks.
It's
so
hard enough, like.
yeah, with that, it will be hard at the start because it's like I know for me when I post a piece of content, I've got my For You page right in front of us now. Next thing you know, I'm doom school, and I'm in like a massive doom school. You've got to like really like get rid of the vice, get rid of the phone completely once you do exactly what you said you're going to do. Whether it's posting content, sending that message, I don't know, doing a fucking call review or whatever. You open the gates of all this like dopamine as soon as you go on your phone. So you got to have a purpose on why you go on your phone. I think for you, Matthew, when you get up and go on you like on a roll and stuff, let's say doing it full time, it's like it will get harder for you, like for aiming. As soon as you
Yeah,
go full time in
definitely.
remote sales, you are going to be tested with this because you have all
Yeah,
the
because
freedom
you've
now.
all the time, like, yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else want to answer that? These are all fried. So essentially, when you think about pleasure and pain, they share the same circuit in your brain, right? They actually come from your like it's what's called the frontal cortex or whatever. Um, so like what we were saying before with the ice baths, saunas and stuff, when something's painful to start with, but it's worth it after, well, that's the way you should get your dopamine. When it's instant gratification and you'll have a stronger crash after. So dopamine is relative to pain, right? Like I was saying, it's the same part of the brain that processes both the things. So let's say you're on a drinking binge, you're going to feel, and this is why I kind of once I looked into this, I felt sorry for addicts more. Whereas before, I was always thinking, just fucking stop, just stop it. But realistically, your whole there's an imbalance in your brain now where, like I was saying with the homeostasis, where it kind of tries to balance itself out. You're giving yourself this rush of dopamine, whether that's from drink, fast food, or whatever. Your brain has to balance it out. But then eventually, if you keep up with these vices, let's say you're drinking, porn, you fucking nicotine, cocaine, all these vices, for you to actually level out the pleasure with the pain, it gets worse and worse. That's why people become alcoholics. That's why you got all these gremlins on one side and you've got this on the other side, right? It's going to take, I wish Anton was here because it's going to take time for you to actually level your brain out. Like I was saying, it's going to take 30 days when you look at the studies and stuff of it, of taking, and we're going to go through it in terms of you're just going to work it one vice at a time. Because how many times have you tried to just completely reinvent yourselves and remove all these different vices and you end up getting worse? So we're just going to pick it one thing at a time. Niall?
Yes, just on that, Jar, when you saying going back to like the 30-day thing, do you
Yeah.
feel like it would take like a full 30 days to bring in a new habit as such? Because I'm reading that book, Atomic Habits, and just looking at it that way, for a bad habit to go, you have to replace it. And same goes, you can't just bring four good habits on and, on top of bad habits, you have to take four away as well.
Yeah, because, well, that's why we're saying when you take a habit away, there's a void, and then we have to replace that void with something else. Like we can't just take away a habit. Your willpower, you don't have it. You kind of just stop something. You'll end up doing something else. It's like, I don't know if you lads have tried coming off nicotine. I know for me, I just eat so much more coming off it. Junk food as well. Or if I'm stressed about business or whatever, I'll start doing things that are more convenient for me. I'll order in food. Maybe I'll stop going to the gym because it'll save time. And you get in this downward spiral with everything. You've got to fill it with something healthier. Um, I haven't read that Atomic Habits. Everyone bangs on about it. But I know from the studies I've looked at, it takes 30 days, not 2 weeks, not 3 weeks, like 30 days to completely get rid of that and have that brain chemistry reset to like homeostasis with it. Um, what does it say in that book? Like, because I've had so many people recommend it, I just never read it. Like,
It is good so far. And just even with us talking about dopamine and stuff, like I'm going off this call wanting to actually read it.
right, yeah, yeah,
No, but it just talks about all the habits and what you have to do, and it talks about other stories as well of like all them British like cyclists like
right,
years ago, what they done, all these habits that they done in order to actually win. Because at the end of the day, all the other cyclists, they were all aiming for the same thing, was to win. But
yeah.
to get to there, they had to change different habits.
Mhm.
It's unreal, like it
It's
is really.
when you understand your own brain, because there's also a book my dad always tells about. It was about like, the chimp mind and the human mind. There's like I forgot what it was called now. He used to explain this when I was a kid, and we are
It's called the
essentially chimps.
chimp paradox.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, yeah. And it just made it so much more understandable for us when I was growing up on why I acted in certain ways, why I was attracted to doom school and lust and this and that. It's like you're a chimp. It's like you're an animal. Any other animal, if they had the same conscience as us and the same like logic as us, they do these exact same mistakes that we make. Like we're wired in that way to seek this fast dopamine. Um, and now we're in a world where it's just like so accessible. But no, with that, obviously, you're going to feel like shit. So 30 days, you're going to feel anxious, irritated, flatness, no motivation. You're going to be miserable. As soon as you take one of these vices out, and obviously we're going to fill it with something else, you're going to not feel yourself at all. Um, and you're probably going to try and replace it with another bad thing. So what's the first thing you reach out to when you're like just bored, stressed, or lonely? Is your phone, porn, food, alcohol, gaming? What is your drug? And we'll focus on that first.
Phone.
I say mine is my phone.
Phone. Yeah.
I
Anything else?
definitely phone.
Mine's definitely alcohol.
Phone,
Alcohol, yeah.
phone, food, and probably nicotine.
Okay. Yeah. 100%.
Snuff
Yeah,
it.
cheeky snus and fucking doom scroll.
Caffeine
Right.
too, I suppose.
Yeah. Caffeine, 100%. Yeah,
I
I'm really trying to limit it now. Um,
I think coffee is fine, but see the same thing that Niall said about the Monster Energy, 110%. And I don't know why, because there's like the same amount of caffeine in a Monster than there is in a coffee. So it's really weird. But if I drink a coffee, I'll be fine like the whole way throughout the day. If I drink a Monster, yeah, I'll be getting fucking heart palpitations, and then you'll be feeling stressed, and you're getting into your head more. You're thinking, "Fuck me," and then it just keeps rising. It's like
I
not
think
a good
it's all the
feeling.
other shit in the Monster Energy.
yeah.
It's all the preservatives and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna
Fucking
Coffee's
fuck.
like a coffee's like a clean. It feels like clean and mellow, but then when you have a Monster, it just feels like something you would take
Yeah.
before like a hard leg session in a gym or something, you know?
I feel like I'm immune to caffeine. I have a coffee in the morning, I have a Monster in the gym, and I used to get a buzz off the Monster, and see, no, I don't know, it doesn't really fucking hit me anymore. Like,
No,
So
I'm the same. And you know what it is? It's like if you I don't know if you've ever like fasted off caffeine for a little bit. I've went like 3 days without caffeine, starting headaches, feeling shit. But as soon as you have that coffee again, after like the
Mhm.
fourth day, you're wired. You're like you're on drugs. It just proves that your tolerance is just probably ruining it. You don't
Yeah,
even
too
get the
much. Just
dopamine from it anymore. It's just like a placebo effect.
yeah, no buzz at all. I just drink it like it's like drinking a fucking bottle of water. It's just a white monster, just for the taste for me. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
You
No,
get rid
same.
of coffee altogether?
What was that, sorry?
Would you suggest just getting rid of coffee altogether?
You're gonna have to you're gonna have to substitute with something else. Um, I wouldn't. I'd tailor it off because when I went cold turkey on it, I really felt ill. But I'd be having
Mm.
like three, four, even 5 cups of coffee a day, like sometimes just black coffees at one point. But I knew I was really anxious and stressed during the day, and I couldn't regulate my emotions as well, just from coffee. But I was snus as well. When you combine nicotine and caffeine, you're crippled, I think. You
Therefore.
either pick one or the other. If you're doing both, it's a cocktail of cortisol. Like, uh, you're just so stressed for no reason. Um, Niall.
I remember seeing this meme. It was like a Northern Irish thing of a breakfast is just a coffee and a cigarette.
It's just like a crippling anxiety. Like I don't know. Like even when I was working on site and stuff, everyone would just be on the snus, cigs, vape, and then we'll be on the coffees as well every day, just fried.
Good combo though, isn't it?
It is. It's like it's a bit of a buzz, like, but I liked the anxiety kind of things because it was like it made us do work, the little bit of anxiety. But then when I finished with work, I was like, why can't I relax
Yeah,
constantly?
yeah, yeah. I know what
You
you
know what I mean?
mean.
I can't switch off now from work. Aiden,
What about snus? Would you go cold turkey with snus, or what would you do?
I had to because it got to a point where I was so addicted and I had to throw it out if it was in the house. It got to a point even with used ones, I'd be putting them fucking back in too. I'd even go three sometimes, one on the bottom, two on the top. I would do anything just for a bit of a buzz. And another thing with snus is, right, it's not good for your digestive system. You'll know you shit your arse off all the time on snus. You're always on the toilets as soon as you have one, and it ruins your like intestines and everything. They reckon it's not good. It's like constantly shitting like that all the time. Same with coffee,
So
does
would
that as
you
well.
recommend? Would you recommend going cold turkey on snus, or would you recommend weaning off? Like I only take like 3 snus a day, 4 snus a day.
Oh well, I was definitely different. Like snus was my addiction vice. I think you could wean off then. I just couldn't. I had to just completely remove myself like from it. Um, yeah, wean yourself off, especially on 50 milligrams, like because you're not gonna be able to sleep for a while. Like when I stopped, I was tossing and turning in bed for nights. Like
Yeah. Well, I've cut that out now. Like taking them before I go to sleep.
yeah, yeah,
But
because you wake up the next day feeling hungover if you
yeah,
just have
you
it
do,
just
and
before
you're
bed.
feeling groggy, and you're like, went to bed 7, 8 hours ago. Why can I not get up? Like I feel like I've slept for 2 hours.
Yeah, 100%.
But I see the thing is like it stops you from getting into like REM sleep for like the first 6 hours. So you technically do only get like 2 hours of deep sleep.
Yeah, yeah, right. Okay, it really does because it raises your blood pressure as well. Like my heart's go mental after a snus. But I just want to lie in bed when I have a snus as well. I just do it like it's just complete crash after. I don't want anyone to speak to us. It was the same even like with weed and stuff when I was younger. It would just be like I don't want anyone to speak to us for a while, antisocial. Just want to sit there and doom scroll. Just made us
You're
so
just
lazy.
slumped. You're slumped, like, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%. But look, it's the same thing every time. Whatever vice you have. Firstly, you get stressed about something. You know, I'm going to fuck it right now. I need to have a snus. I need a pint. I need a tug. You get a short relief, literally like minimal relief, right? But it's true. It's true. And then it's you crash, whether that's like fuck's sake, I've relapsed, a bit of shame, and you just feel like a piece of shit. And then you lose confidence in yourself, and then you feel like you're not the guy, and you just like you don't like yourself at all after. Like that's probably the worst point to be in your life when you don't even like yourself. And when you're constantly doing this all the time, you just don't think you're that guy. Why would you even bother at life? Do you know what I mean? So it's just this trap. Every vice does the exact same thing. And if you can start noticing it in whatever you're doing, you know what's giving you the shit dopamine and what's giving you the good one. When you're in an ice bath and that stress well, you're self-inflicting the first step, stress. You're not having guilt and shame after an ice bath, are you? You're not having guilt and shame after a fucking run. Do you know what I mean? So it's so easy to spot what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. But the issue is right now you are doing a lot of stuff that is giving you maybe this guilt and shame and you relapse and you feel like a piece of shit. So you don't even want to do the hard stuff anymore. Do you know what I mean? So the first step, like after the session, is just removing one of these vices, and you can start balancing yourself out again. So you actually want to do the harder stuff. Um, Obviously, I think we've covered this question realistically. If someone was to watch your life, what would they say you're addicted to? It seems like most people it's the phone. So we know exactly what to do. We've kind of ran through that already. So the step one, really, the fix. Dopamine audit. Write down what you use to escape. That's going to be the first thing. So for most people, it's going to be your phone. How you feel after. Let's say if you went through a doom scrolling session for an hour, how do you feel? And what helps you actually avoid? Well, it's only avoiding you doing the work that you know you should be doing. Like I was saying, addiction isn't pleasure. It's simply just you avoiding something and balancing out that pain pleasure scale manually. Matthew?
See the way you said, like just like to remove one vice. So like obviously for me it would be doom scrolling. So you mean like the one vice it will be doom scrolling then?
Yeah, well,
You know
just
what I mean?
like just to the point where you're not doom scrolling throughout your whole day. I know for you, you're doing it just before bed, aren't you? So you just be removing that before bed. Now, how to do that? You can't just remove it and just sit there in bed and do nothing. You're gonna have to look at something else, whether that be reading a book or even just ringing a friend or speaking to a family
Yeah.
member. It has to completely take your mind off doom scrolling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, to be fair, like in work and all of my breaks and all it will be too, like, but I have started to read, like, I've said I need to read 5 pages a night before I go to sleep. So I've started doing that, but it's coming home in the evenings and just sitting eating my dinner scrolling and then at night as well. And that's really it during work hours too, like.
Yeah. It's and it's really this is going to be really hard to start with, and you're going to probably relapse in the 30 days. And I've made like a worksheet for you to even just track everything up to you if you want to use it. But he's not going to do the full 30 days perfectly, like, and I don't want you to expect that from yourselves either. Because that's when if you relapse in whatever it is, you feel like a piece of shit and you're like, oh well, I might as well just leave it now. And for the rest of the time, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Or I'll start on Monday or whatnot. Um, Christian perspective, it's like when you fall into sin, like you've immediately just got to repent and just get away from that guilt and shame because that's what gets you back into it. Do you know what I mean? No matter how many times you fuck up, you have to get back on your feet and not beat yourself up. So remove one source for 30 days. Obviously, you're going to be fucking bored. You're going to get in your own head. You're want to doom school and go back to what you were doing before. With fix three, you self-binding. So essentially, you've got to actually replace it with something else. Obviously, with your phone, make sure you just at night, if you put your alarm outside your room, or even get an alarm clock into your phone. Do you mean so you're not fucking lying in bed doom scrolling? Apps deleted, junk removed, gym clothes ready, whatever it is. You've got to fill it with an actual step that's going to help you get out of it. Like I was saying, if willpower worked, you wouldn't need this. Do you know what I mean? So you just can't do it all yourselves. Like fill the void with something else. Step four, earn your dopamine. I am going to give you the worksheet after, so it'll be clear on what you need to do. But it's filling the void with something that's actually going to be worthwhile. Walk without any stimulation, get bored. I think it's helped me so much with creativity, just sitting in my own thoughts. You're going to lose your head initially, but even just 5, 10 minutes. Remember Andy Mooney? He's still in Trinity or whatnot. He's on his rule. I even downloaded his digital product the other day. It was like a free one. I don't know if you've seen it for the people that follow him. It's just the breathwork stuff for 10 minutes that you can do during the day, just to detach yourself from everything. Let's see if you have relapsed or you have this like intense thought of like going back onto your phone or eating that junk food, just detaching yourself 10 minutes, right? I'm just gonna do a bit of breath work and then my mind's off it. But the first 5 minutes of the breath work, I'm probably gonna be losing my fucking head because all I can think about is doing that thing. Um, so yeah, essentially, yeah, you don't need, it's not essentially just getting motivation, you're just overstimulated, right? Now, this last question, let's say you did remove the doom scrolling, whatever the crutch is that you have 30 days, right? And yes, there might be the odd day where you relapse or whatnot. What sort of tasks do you think you're going to get done? What do you think is going to get better?
Everything.
In what sense do you think?
Like, I feel like I'd just be doing far more work, like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I get so much more done.
Yeah,
There'll be less brain fog.
yeah, 100%. Because I can definitely relate, even when, well, Molly and Owen, when you were saying that before, like with the brain fog, when you're overstimulated, you just exist in like, I don't know if you can agree with us on this, but you just go through the whole day and you're just going through the motions and you don't even feel like a human. You're just like a fucking robot. You get to the end of the day, you haven't really thought about anything and you're going to bed. And that's why when I run the content sessions, everyone's like, oh yeah, the most content ideas I ever get is with me just before I go to sleep. Well, that's only because the only time you've ever thought throughout the whole day is before you go to sleep. Do you know what I mean? Now you're losing sleep now because you actually haven't even let your brain think about anything throughout the whole day. So that's why I think like a lot of people that have insomnia and stuff, it's because they're overstimulated during the day and they're not processing any of the thoughts at all. And when you're left alone by yourself, it all comes in massively and you can't sleep now. Don't know if everybody else experiences that, like, but that's even like before I go to sleep, I'll get all these content ideas, but then I'll start like thinking about something embarrassing from like years ago that I'd done, certain conversation that I had when I was like maybe had a few pints. Oh, just cringing in my bed. It's like, do you know when you go in your shower, you're not on your phone, you're just washing your, in your own thoughts, and all these things start coming back. It's because you're not processing anything. You're not letting yourself get bored. The only times you're actually by yourself with your own thoughts is when you're in the shower and just before you go to bed. We have to give ourselves some breathing room in our head and just detach from everything. Like, um, but look, anybody else want to comment on that? He's all
Yeah,
good.
that actually happens to me quite a bit as well, Jared. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
when
just
you're going
like,
to sleep, like you'd be sitting there for half an hour to quarter of an hour and just talking to myself in my own head, like you know.
yeah, 100%. Like I literally, well, even recently a little bit, I'm like, fucking hell, I've just been on my laptop all day today. I haven't really thought about anything. And now everything's rushing to my head. What I need to do tomorrow. I forgot this, or I should message this person. Or it all comes just before I go to bed. Whereas I should have processed that during the day. Like you all need to do that. Just completely overstimulated. Um, but I have, I'm going to give you this PDF anyways, but it's just like it's basically a tick box thing. You can fill it out however you want. I can give you the Word doc to edit it or whatnot. But essentially for the 30 days, obviously you're just changing the vices in here and you're just taking it all off. And I'm not looking for perfection, right? But you got 5 ticks there, 3 more ticks, you win the day. Um, you just kind of expect yourselves to be perfect from the off. Just impossible. And all of that. So I'll send this into the group anyways. You can copy and paste, put in a Word doc, edit it, whatever vices you're going to be using. But yeah, that's what I'd be doing. But yeah, any questions or anything else you want to comment on that? Or is all good?
Oh, good, bro.
I hope
All
you
good,
have got
yeah.
a bit more of understanding what dopamine actually is. It's not just like pleasure. It's not just like, there's no such thing as just like bad dopamine. You need dopamine. It's just how you get it. Do you know what I mean? The dopamine itself isn't bad. You need it to do stuff. The reason why you're not doing what you want to do is because you haven't got, you just depleted from spiking it too much. The little things in life aren't pleasurable anymore. You'll start to realize this when you start fasting, whatever the vice is, you start enjoying your life a little bit more. Conversations with people, a cup of coffee is a bit nicer. A doom scroll's nicer now because I don't do as much. It's like when you're overstimulated, nothing pleasures you. And that's when people go to the extremes, where it's alcohol, fucking cocaine, anything, because they have to go to that level because they're fried with all the little gremlins that you see on the scale.
It makes a lot of sense for me, to be fair. Like now, it gives me clarity and reasons why I'm doing things and stuff too. Like even when it comes to work, like I can't sit in my own thoughts. That's something I definitely need to improve on. Even earlier, I was chatting to Aiden around this. I had like dropped price on a guy pretty much, and we just stayed silent for like 3 minutes, and I couldn't even just chill for 3 minutes. I was away like trying to rebook someone else in on my computer and stuff, all in the meantime of that, because I just didn't know what else to be at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I get it. Definitely. It's so scary because it's like, I know for me, anyways, I just start thinking about all the stuff I need to do as soon as try and think, like not think. It's like all the things I forgot about come back, and then I get stressed. Then I feel like I should do something. Let yourself get bored. De-stimulate yourself.
You know what you were saying about not listening to music and like having time to yourself, but like it's I'm guessing it's still a good dopamine. You know when you go to the gym, like I have to have my music on.
Yeah, yeah. No, 100%. Like maybe the music isn't like it's not going to give you that crash. Do you know what I mean? Like something
Yeah.
else would. I just know for me, like sometimes I wanted to go to the next level with it, where I was like, I wanted zero stimulation. I just wanted to be completely in my own thoughts because you can get to a point where it's like, um, you can get better at it. It's kind of meditation. I don't want to get all hippie and all that, but it's like you get better at it, and then you can take away more stimulation to the point where it's like nothing, and you can just sit in silence. I'm not asking anyone to do that right now, but in the future, if you can do that, it's pretty good, pretty powerful. Like if you can just sit in your own thoughts for hours. That's why people go nuts in solitary confinement in prison for months. They've got no stimulation. They're losing their head. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying you go to that extreme, like, but yeah, anything. The moral of the story today is anything that gives you a quick spike in dopamine is never worth it. Anything that has the pain up front first, that gives you the dopamine, is most likely always worth it. And you're not going to have that imbalance in your brain chemistry. Doing the hard thing first, then that comes later on, you're fine. So yeah, but I'm not saying don't enjoy your life. You're going to have vices and stuff, I get it, but it's like well, I know for me anyways, your brain chemistry can just alter and you're not enjoying life anymore. And it's not because you're broken or depressed, it's because you're getting dopamine in the wrong places. So just keep that in mind. I hope that's giving you a bit more of an insight on everything because you just see everyone talk about cheap dopamine and all that, but like no one's really explaining it. Um, there's a few podcasts that I've been listening to, which I can send over as well, which goes into the science of it. If you're interested, I'll stick into the group. But yeah, any other questions on that? Any other issues?
All good, Jordan.
All good, lad.
Sweet. If you have any issues, like even like personal issues, like certain vices that you are really struggling with, it could be the silliest of things. Like I was listening to a podcast today. It was like some woman was addicted to water because she used to be an alcoholic, and so when she was coming off it and stuff, she ended up actually sounding pretty bad. She ended up actually killing herself because of her water addiction, not the alcohol, water addiction. So it's like, yeah, the science behind that's a bit complicated as well. So it's like no vice is ever stupid. I just know it could be a bit more private for others. So you can always message us or whatnot as well. But yeah, I will catch up with you on Tuesday. If there's anything you want us to focus on, let us know as well. Yeah, I'll see you on Tuesday.
Dead on, Jordan. Thank you.
Sure.
Sweet.
Cheers, lad.
Catch up with you soon.
Good man. Speak to you after.